I'm here for the MIT category. And I have like
Yasmin,
certain questions related. Yes, yes. I talked to you last time as well. So, yeah.
you're coming here with a second round of questions,
Yes, yes.
which is perfect. So we have one MIDP, uh, Rubina ORD, Sterish, if I'm not mispronouncing it. I believe you're
Uh, let,
typing.
I mean, let me tell you one thing. Sarish, Mohsen, and Dr. Rubina and Do- Dr. Fiza Yasmin, we belong to, the same setting from the same organization. And yes,
Okay,
and we are aiming to submit the application collectively.
to the ORD category, correct? Okay,
Yes.
so 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just seeing the people on my screen. So the only person that I'm missing to understand is then Martha.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Um, I'm for ORD, and this is my first time to like write an application, so I'm here to learn a lot. And my colleagues are yet to join, but I would love to learn more about how things work and how can a person do like an application. Does it? Okay, I think I should wait when that time comes, but I'm here for ORD.
Okay,
Thank
very
you.
well. Very well. So, I will, as I said, I'm gonna make this more of a Q&A. So for you to come to me with questions you might have after looking at the application. But as a quick sum up of what this is about, uh, I will not go in detail on the entire PPT that I had prepared, but I'm still gonna give some overview so that you have also an introduction to this. At any point in time, please feel free to interrupt me uh, and make any questions. So just unmute yourself and step in. So this is the Global Development Awards competition. This is a competition that is divided into two different target groups. The ORD, the Japanese Award for Outstanding Research on Development, is dedicated to research projects. The Japanese Award for Most Innovative Development Project, or MIDP, and the other one is ORD, is targeted at NGOs or CSOs that have already ongoing projects for at least 6 months or since June of last year, that are targeted to benefit the most marginalized communities. Both of them are to only eligible for researchers affiliated with an institution in the Global South and for NGOs or CSOs that are based in the Global South. In that list of countries, there is part on each of those categories, which is basically the same, and it follows the nomenclature from the World Bank of low and middle income countries. So above and foremost, that is the main criteria that you need to keep in mind. So I hope that you are all coming from that list of eligible countries. Both of them overall provide, and I will start with the ORD. This is a competition that has been running since 2000. So it's the longest project at GDN. It is supported by the Ministry of Finance since its very inception, with a lot of $4 million dollars being provided for both researchers and development projects, with a huge community. So as you can see, we have more than almost 9,000 researchers and development practitioners since we started, across to more than 200 awards. The ORD competition provides one first prize award of 30,000, second of 20,000, and the third of 10,000. And the first point that I made here is, do not think that you're gonna have an advantage by submitting a project that has a budget of less than 30,000. The goal is for you to apply to 30,000, and if then you are awarded the second or the third, you will be supported, assisted by GDN and by someone that will be provided to you as your technical advisor to help you scale it down. Okay, so do not This is the first tip. Do not think that you're gonna have any advantage whatsoever. It actually can go against you if you submit a project that does not target the 30,000 that the first prize award. We want people to be ambitious. We submit an innovative and of high quality research proposal, but that is cost effective, effective to what is awarded to the first prize winner. Sometimes I'm making this point because sometimes in other competitions, when people interpret one of the criteria as cost effective, they consider that spending less means higher quality. That is not the case. I have absolutely no interest whatsoever of keeping money for GDN. I have absolutely no interest. I have 30,000 available. I want the 30,000 to be used. Period. Nothing, no more. I don't want it. This money is for everyone. And I might be perceived and as someone that is very much supportive, and it's just I want to be seen as your cheerleader. So whenever someone gets an award, I'm here just to support you because you are the stars of the show. Therefore, the money is yours, it's yours to use, and it's yours because you were entitled to it. You deserved it. The topic changes every year, and this year we've chosen Sustainable Climate Action for Human-Centered Development. This is associated, and the entire competition will culminate at the GDN conference of 2024, which will take place in Fiji in the end of November, where the topic is as well climate change is in terms of climate change affecting the region, with Fiji as the regional leader. And therefore, this is where the finalists will be presenting to a jury their proposals. I'm just making the connection to where the finalists will be presenting, though those are two separate events. The topic then we are looking for, knowledge generation. We want this to have an impact as well, so that there are policy implications of the research that you're going to propose. The main goal is the main output will be a research article out of the research project that you're going to submit. You're going to have the support from someone externally and someone from GDN from a more administrative point of view, but this needs to have an implication. It needs to be innovative. It needs to make us understand the social impacts of climate change. Don't take the examples that we put here as things that you must do. These are areas that we expect you to touch upon, connected to the innovation aspect. So, and needs to be in terms of a methodological approach to the research project that you're going to submit. It needs to be, or needs to consider, or need to identify and demonstrate if it is long-term or short-term, and it needs to show how the human security is approached on this concept. And when we talk about human
Can I
security, yes,
Can I ask some question?
of
Is
course.
it is it's just a information knowledge, or it's a intervention is also included in that?
Can you repeat the question, please?
I'm asking that is it the intervention is also included in as when we make a program, the social impact of climate change in a global south? And if I write the proposal, do I have to give the intervention also, or just a knowledge? It's just a information and knowledge, or the implementation of any intervention also included in that?
You're talking from an ORD perspective or MIDP?
No, ORG,
ORD.
yes.
It's about, you need to understand, I'm not asking you to propose a project and then revise it. This is a research project, so it's about the research. It might be an aspect of a certain intervention. You can always do, surveys, you can do you can do site visits or something to complement, but make the distinction between development projects to support communities and something that is about to understanding why those communities do. Did I answer your question, or did I not understand your question?
Yeah, but just I'm still wanted to know about the, if you are going in the community and creating awareness and a journal survey and all that, do I have to do some intervention also?
You don't have to do an intervention. You don't have
Okay,
to do the
that's
intervention. Okay.
okay. That's I
It
want to know.
it goes back into what you're since I don't know what you want to do and what you're going to propose to on doing. Of course, surveys are part of a methodological approach that you're going to submit.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. I got it.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I think I was on human security, if I'm not mistaken. So human security is according to the concept of human security as proposed by the Japanese government. Okay, so don't take it as security. By generally, when people think about security, is just if they are going to be safe from X, Y, or Z. It's human security from a broader perspective of people to be able to live from fear and want. So if they have access to food, if they are able to live and not survive, if they are it's broader. So I invite you to, when you think of human security, you don't think solely on the aspect of security as it is on the dictionary. I'm gonna put a link, and I can provide then on the call for proposals. There's actually a link to what this means, and I'm making this point because it comes across. Some people focus too much on security by itself. Rubina, please.
Yeah, so when we were reading this, how we understood this is that the proposal must have one of each one of these elements, methodological innovation. So we should have at least one of these three noted here and one of the points noted under temporal analysis. Did we get that right? And
It
that they
needs
should.
it needs to have it needs to be innovative from a methodological point of view. You need to showcase or indicate if it is a long-term or short-term assessment that you're going to do, and how it is connected to this homeland security centric approach. The other three, the 3 points, the bullet points that you put there is just to help guide your
Okay.
understanding.
Okay, got you.
Okay, you don't need to
Yes.
check. That's not the point of this. We are just trying to provide further guidance so that it is clear for everyone. Okay, and I'm going through this
Okay.
because I know that Martha is here to learn, so that's why I'm here as well, to try to give this additional emphasis and probably already addressing some of the questions that you had coming into this. Just to put it on the PPT, just to put it on the screen, it is on the call. The eligible countries, low and middle income countries, as per the World Bank definition. Eligibility criteria, the main one, country, as I said, age of the team members up to 45 years old, of all team members, not just the principal investigator, but all team members. Okay, because this is still to provide and to give more opportunities for people, and this is completely irrelevant, completely to be seen as apart from who will be the technical advisor. Okay, if you get the award, then a technical advisor will come, and most certainly it'll be above 45 years old, because we try to always come up, and a mentor is selected between GDN and the grantee according to what are the specific needs of that project. If it is on a certain top part of the proposal, if it is an expert on the region, if it is on a specific element of the research that needs to be scaled down or upscaled. So this is outside, but within the team members, within all the collaborators that are added to the proposal, they all need to be up to 45 years old. Please don't. There are some, I've had cases where, unfortunately, the CVs or the information provided was not correct, because somehow some applicants knew that they were failing on this eligibility, and then that proposal, even though it was shortlisted to the final stage, was excluded. So this is a point that you need to ensure that you are not hiding, or just tweaking here or there because it's just 1 year. We need to be fair. We need to be fair, and everyone needs to follow the rules. Therefore, it's 45, no questions around it. Double funding also not allowed, and this is also this can happen at any time, even after the award is done given. I really don't want to go through the process of finding out later on while the implementation is going that actually this proposal is being funded by different sources, because that again would be considered illegal and a breach of contracts, and all the money will be brought in. Needs to be original. Dishonesty not permitted. I'm not going through all of them. You can see it there. I'm focusing on the ones that we tend to have more problems, including self plagiarism. We will be looking into. We have BlackScan. We have two different tools that we use in order to make sure that the concept is original. Okay, it is okay for you to reference yourself. It is okay. There is nothing wrong with that. What we cannot accept and will not accept is that, throughout the proposal, basically it's copy pasting from an article that you have published already, and you consider that is your own writing, but it's already published. Therefore, it is not acceptable. You can, of course, cite it, but citing is, one sentence here, one sentence there is not a whole paragraph. And I'm saying because I've seen this, whole paragraphs just being placed from an article, from something that is already published and put it here. Because then one asks, what is innovative about that? If it is already published, it is not, you were expecting this to be a new iteration of something that maybe you already done. And you're just showing the references because in order for you to show that you know what you're going to do, because that helps to show the feasibility of the project. This is a very, I'm really emphasizing on this because I've seen this in the past. Some people do not consider self-plagiarism to be plagiarism. It is. It is. Moving forward. Process for, yes, Rubina.
Okay, so what if that approach was used in a different country, in a different context, and we think that that's not been done for the kind of problem we're looking at? So in other words, maybe the approach isn't first ever in the universe, but it's something that we know has not been done in our context for this kind of problem.
There's
Would that be okay?
that's no problem whatsoever there. As long as you are inspired by them, but I would advise you, to put a little twist on it, show that you're doing something else. Otherwise, the reviewers will think, so they are basing themselves on this and they're simply replicating it. Of course, even in general terms, just the replication, it can be innovative by itself. But it's different if it is on a completely different topic and you are putting it on this topic. That's different. So it's about how you put it forth. How do you explain it? I would advise you to put it in a way that you using it as an example and not as your blueprint. You're not just copying it.
Got it. Thank you.
You're very welcome. The evaluation has 4 stages. The eligibility screening, where we go through all the ones that we listed before in order to make sure that it works. And the added one here is if a proposal is completely out of scope. There are specific fields where we ask about the connection with the theme. And unfortunately, what has been seen in the past is that people have already a set idea of what they wanted to do and what they are doing, and legitimately so is looking for funding to implement it. But it doesn't have a connection, or there's not made a connection with the theme of this edition. Unfortunately, I cannot allow that to move along. Even though I wanted to, I cannot, because I have this is a process that has feedback rounds. So you always have, regardless if you don't move to the first stage or the second stage, you always get feedback from the reviewers. And if I'm advancing proposals that do not fit within the scope of the theme, I'm basically providing less reviews for the proposals that were actually allowed to move along. Because I have a set budget, right? As you can understand, I have a set budget for every step, the awards and the review process. And if I have less proposals to review, that means that I can hire more reviewers that can provide you more feedback and different perspectives, so that you always have an opportunity to improve it if you move from one stage to the other, or if you don't evolve here, at least you get feedback so that in future competitions, initiatives, you already had some sort of peer review from it. So I hope you understand why this is done, because we're trying to be fair and to allow people to learn and to get something from this, even if they don't succeed. The first level is done by junior researchers, or what we call generalists. So people that do not have necessarily, so they're researchers already with a proven record of being researchers, but not necessarily on the topic of this proposal. So that they have a general overview of the quality of the proposal itself, because that is important in order to move along. Those that then we have a short listed that moves into the senior researchers, people that have already years of experience on the topic of the competition, that will go more in depth into it. And from one stage to the other, you will get feedback, and you will have the opportunity, if you so wish, for those that advance, to revise the application. So you will have between 1 or 2 weeks, I don't recall it right now, to revise it according to the feedback that you received, though you don't have to. You don't have to. I need to emphasize this. There's that slot, and you might get those feedback from the people that are generalists, but you might think, okay, this comment maybe doesn't make sense because precisely this person is not an expert precisely on the field. Therefore, I don't necessarily agree to what they're saying. And you don't have to, and you're not expected or even advised to answer to revise the proposal and say, according to so I'm making this change, so according to that comment. That's irrelevant. What you're going to do is to revise, if you want to, the application as a whole, because the senior researchers, the second stage reviewers, will only have access to the proposal, that version of the proposal. So you need to think it, frame it as it's okay. This is again the proposal of the application that we're putting forth. And this is then the third stage, the experts, and out of the experts, you still get another round of feedback from these senior people. You'll have another opportunity to revise the proposal, but only for those that are the top 3, because we have always 3 finalists, and these 3 finalists then are the ones that will have the opportunity to go to have access to the training in communication. And the PI, the principal investigator, will be the one that will be invited to go to Fiji to attend this communication training and to be presenting the application at the conference in front of the jury. Is this clear for everyone? Questions? No? Awesome. Criteria, 3 big sections: academic quality, the links to policy, and feasibility. You see that there is the last one that is in italics, which is the impact of social science distance policies. There's a field for that on the application template, but this is not considered for the evaluation. Okay, it is just for us to be aware if, God forbid, there is any sort of issues in the future again of that will cause for us to understand if there will be an impact or not. This will not be considered in terms of for the evaluation, but it's for us to be prepared, because we learned from our recent past that things happen outside of our control. So for us to be aware from the beginning, if needed be, that we can support you on making sure that you can still implement this project, even if something comes up. All these items, there are different items within the big categories of the evaluation, are linked to the application templates. And I'm saying this because as you're going to go through the application, you're going to see sections, right? There's certain sections that you need to fill. And you always see guiding questions. There's something that is called their guiding questions. I cannot give you a better advice than for you to really consider those guiding questions, because those guiding questions are the ones that the reviewers will take into account when they are scoring them. So you are not expected to be answering to them directly. So don't copy paste it and then answer to it below. That is not the point. But what you're writing there should be addressing those points. Think of them as you know, as your blueprints of things that you need to include in your narrative. Because if you put the guiding question, then you answer below, you're losing characters. And if you're losing characters, you're losing space for you to actually to provide content for your to showcase your proposal. Okay, I've seen that. That's why I'm making this case. I've seen people just, you know, copy pasting because they thought that that will give them an edge, an advantage. That is not the case. They're just losing characters, words that are going to be important, and all of them have a limit. You know, all of them except the field for the methodological approach have a set maximum of words. And if you're putting there the questions, you're losing words that might be very important for you to actually have the space to explain what you want to explain in detail. Okay, I'm gonna go and show you the template later on, but I just wanted to make this clear. The jury will then revise the top three. Will have this simplified level criteria list. So they will grade it in the 6 elements. The last one is in terms of quality of the presentation, and it's not about if it is beautiful, if it is pretty or whatnot. It's about if you were able to explain it clearly what you're going to do, and if you were able to answer the questions that the jury poses to you in a coherent and clear method. Because unfortunately, let's link it back to the 45 years old criteria. What has unfortunately seen even in the past is that people were selected, but when they were put on the spot and they would have to defend their questions were raised if that person was actually the one that wrote it and actually knew about the proposal that was set forth. Because they had what had happened was that they actually had someone, a tutor at the host institution, that actually was the one that actually had developed the entire proposal. And since they were above 45 years old, they just put that person as at the forefront to take the lead on paper, but that person was not an expert. They were actually not the ones that had written it. Okay, since this is to help to provide a grant in many cases for people for the first time ever to be leading a project, if that was not the case, that then we are put in a very awkward situation where we actually have a proposal that we have a person there that does not know how to answer the questions, because in fact they were just the assistants. They were not the ones that were leading the proposal. Okay, and we need to be fair. And if the concept is to 45 years old in order to help and to develop a team and to develop a person's development and sometimes even the institution, then the PI must be the PI, not a puppet PI. Okay, so just to make it clear of what is the quality of presentation. Not pretty, not graphics, not if it is all fancy and whatnot. That's not the point. Even because you're going to have a comms training to make it all fancy and all about. We just want for the person to be able to defend, to put forth, to showcase what they're going to do. Because imagine, if this is to expected to have policy implications, that means that this person will also need to be able to explain what you're going to do to policymakers, to CSOs, to a very broad different roles of people. So sometimes research a researcher explaining something to someone that is a representative from civil society is not easy, because they're so used to communication at the research level that explaining some details to a non-researcher can be complicated. So that's something that we developed during this comms training as well. Or the reviewers, I don't believe there's anyone here for that, so I'm just gonna skip it ahead. Before I move to the MIDP, let's make here a stop and Q&A for them. Can you tell me anything that is coming already to your mind of questions that you had on your list that were not addressed? Please go ahead, unmute yourself.
So there's one line in the application that sort of threw us off, and that's on page 2. So I know the other one is for an ongoing project which we want to scale up, right? And then this one here says on page 2, the funds will be used to support the research work proposed by the winners towards the completion of their research. Does that mean this has to be an ongoing research? Or this
No.
can be a new project?
No, the ongoing things is for the development sector. So for the NGOs, the MIDP, the ORD is,
Right.
but can you tell me you're talking about page 2?
So this is page
right at the top.
2 of the call. Yes. When it says
So
the first prize winner.
Yeah, the first prize
Receive
winner
this,
will
right?
receive a grant of 30,000, the second and third 20 and 10 respectively. The funds will be used to support the research work proposed by the winners towards the completion of their research. So the winners
Completion
of
of the
the
research.
ORD, winners of the
Yes.
ORD category.
Yes, just the word completion throws me off. It doesn't have to be an ongoing thing.
No, no,
right?
it's the completion of the research that you're
Okay.
proposing to do.
Okay, got you. Thank you.
Very welcome. Further questions? There are no questions. That's also a good sign. That means everyone actually read everything, and I did a good job on the templates and the support systems on the support documents that I provided. So thank you for that, even though you're not saying it. But let me just share here so that we make sure. So you can see my screen, I believe, correct? Okay.
Yes, could you make it bigger though? Or maybe we can do it at our end.
I shall.
Yeah, yes, thank you.
Perfect. Okay. So this is a Word document that you have access to so that you can work offline. You know, the application always needs to be submitted through the platform, but this is something to help you if you want to work offline. Though, through the platform, you can invite everyone as a collaborator and everyone can work on it. But sometimes some people prefer to work offline, which I completely understand. I would do the same. And that's why we provide these templates. And everything that is asked here is asked on the platform as well. So the general information, the specific, the initial ones. And then we go into, I was talking about the guiding questions. Guiding questions are there to be your best friends throughout this process. Okay? There's always a maximum, or most of it, there's a maximum of words. I said characters, but it's words. And the guiding questions are there to guide you. So throughout this 400 words that you're going to provide here, you need to summarize the context, rationale, and policy relevance, and the importance within the scope of the theme. Think of this as an abstract of a research article. If you were writing an article, you would always need to have an abstract, right? So that's what we're asking here as well. And we're making it, generally, it would be this, right? Generally speaking, it will be just the first point, but we're adding here for you to frame it in the context of the theme, because every year the theme changes. This year we have that theme, so you need to explain how it fits. If it is not explained how it fits, you are not following the guiding questions. Therefore, you are at a disadvantage, and you might even be not excluded eligibility screening because you did not explain how it is connected. And you don't want that, and I don't want you to go through that. Okay? So please, please pay attention to that. Going through the same, you're gonna see this all over. I'm just going in order to make it, to emphasize the importance of this. Guiding question, explanation, what is expected? Guiding question, explanation, what is expected? Question, guiding questions. 3 points. As I was saying, do not do the putting it here and then explaining. If you do this, you just lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words out of the 400 that you had access to, or 300. Everything throughout the text, you need to answer it, but do not put it there, because you're gonna lose space. And the reviewers might ask, so this person does not have those soft skills in critical thinking already well developed in order to be able to, through a narrative text where she's limited, to explain what they want to do beyond, if they don't have those structured directly. You know, how can this go both ways? Okay, so all of them follow the same process. We ask then for the references. Okay, you were talking before, what we're going to propose is based on something that we've seen that is implemented in a different country. List it there, put it as part of the reference list so that it's not perceived as you trying to hide that, because then it's better for you to be upfront than to get the reviewers and to say, oh, this is not innovative because I just found a research article, or I know of another project that does exactly this, but they didn't mention it. You don't want to be perceived as trying to hide that, because that can go against you on the criteria of innovation. Because then they're gonna say, oh, from 1 to 10, this is actually a 1 because I actually found this. Instead of being upfront and saying we based ourselves on them, but we're going to do this. You see how this can be perceived one way or another if it is not referenced there. 3,000, 300, 400, and so on and so forth. This is available online, and this is something, Martha, you were asking about what you wanted to learn and you wanted to see. These are the best sort of advices and tips and tricks that I can provide to you. Follow what is provided there. Follow the instructions. Follow the guiding questions. Those are the best tips that one can give. And those are your first step in order to succeed.
Thank you. Maybe if I can ask,
Yes.
in case you don't attach because I saw a question talking about any attachment to one institution. If I'm not attached to any institution, because me, I'm from Uganda, and if I'm not attached to a public institution that has not received any funding from EU, is it still okay for me to apply?
So you don't need to necessarily be attached to a university, but you need to be associated with an institution that has some background on the research field, because they're gonna be the ones associated with you as well, because otherwise there's not gonna be any checks and balances on the way that you're using the funds, right? We cannot just provide the money directly to an individual if there's not going to be any sort of due diligence of how that money is going to be used. So it can be a think tank. It can be maybe not necessarily a university or a faculty, but an organization that does research, and they will be associated with you. It just cannot be you by yourself, because otherwise there's no due diligence. It's not about us doubting you. It's about us also needing to having some check and balances on how this money is going to be used and on the potential for this to develop not only the individual as a as an individual researcher, but also the institution that he or she is associated with.
Okay, thank you. It is now very clear. Thank you.
Great. Awesome. And you're coming from Uganda, and you know that Uganda just got out of 6 awards of the 2023 edition, Uganda, the country, got 3 out of the 6. So 2 of the MREP were from Uganda, and 1 for the ORD was from Uganda. So Uganda is on a roll.
Yes.
That does not mean that you have a benefit or a disadvantage. Just to make that clear. Okay, on ORD, then, further questions. Tips and tricks, anything else that might come to your mind? Or maybe I'm just way too cheerful and you just want to get away from me. Rubina, you said share a couple of questions. Are all the did I throughout this talk address them?
Yes, my questions have been addressed. Thank you. But if I think of any others, I'll unmute myself and speak.
Okay, very well. Because otherwise, unless I'm gonna assume that you're speaking on behalf of your group, and I'm gonna just turn. Oh no.
No, I just want to ask my group members if anyone else has a thought that I haven't covered, please do. We can go ahead. This is a really good opportunity.
This is a good opportunity, but does not mean that you will not have more. Okay, there's still another session, and I'm always available by email. If you need anything, I'll be available by email to clarify. What I will not do, and that I need to be perfectly clear, is that I will not be advising you on specifics about your proposal. I will not be telling you if this is a good idea or if this is a good approach or so, because I would be going outside of the scope of support that I can provide to you. Yasmin?
Thank you very
Yes.
much. Yes, you have explained everything.
Very good. From Serish?
Yeah, Sarish.
Serish.
Yeah, Sarish. Apology if you find my question silly. I just wanted to know, since there are 3 positions, there are 3 awards, can we apply for all 3 positions from the same organization?
I'm not sure if I understood your question. You might be because your connection. I started losing you. I don't know if everyone understood it.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes.
No, that's
Yeah, I just
She
wanted
lost
to
me.
know, can we apply for all 3 positions? Since there are 3 awards from my organization other than me.
I think perhaps we're asking, can we put in more than one proposal? Is that what we're thinking, Dr. Suresh?
Okay, I'm gonna reply with the assumption of Rubina. What you said was the question. So, because there's two things here. So, because I initially was thinking that she was asking me if they could be applying for the 30,000, the 20,000, and the 10,000. I strongly and deeply advise you against it. You need to apply with a proposal that goes for the 30K available. Period.
Yes.
Period. If you can apply with more than one proposal from the same institution, yes, from the same institution, but no from the same individual. So the same individuals can only be associated with one application. Okay? And unfortunately, I will tell you what would happen if, Rubin, imagine you come and your institution puts 3 and you submit, and your name, you are listed as a member of the 3. I would be forced to exclude all the 3 applications.
Okay,
One
that's not
person,
going to work in our favor.
no,
Right.
whatsoever. Whatsoever. I would advise, if you have 3 ideas, I would suggest that you all sit everyone on a room and you see who fits best into each one of them based on your track record and ambitions and whatnot, and then divide the teams accordingly in order for you to have the best chances of succeeding according to what each person can bring into the success and feasibility of said proposal. I really want to avoid a situation where I need to exclude applications because the same people are listed on different ones. And I hope that, I don't know if Serish, if she was here and if that was actually what she wanted to hear about. But maybe Rubina and Yasmin, maybe you can then feed her in, put it up to speed if that was later on. So Serish, I don't know if you were here, but I basically addressed the question of the way that you are putting it is no, do not apply different to 30K, 20K, and 10K. That is not the way to go. And only one person can be associated with one application, period. Otherwise, it's a risk
Yeah,
of
got it.
being all
Thank you.
excluded.
Yeah.
Got it?
So one
Yes,
question came into my mind. They
yes.
have written that the collaborators. Can you explain that the collaborator is a researcher, or there is some community stakeholders could be the collaborator?
No. So collaborators is, think of it as your research team. It's a
Okay.
research team, the people that
Okay.
will have a contribution to the development and the implementation of said projects. So I will not be expecting you to imagine you're going to need a lot of people to help you on implementing surveys. I do not want you to be listing and inviting people to be added as collaborators for that. Collaborators
Okay.
are the team members of the
Research.
research project that you're setting forth.
Okay.
All
Okay.
of them need to be up to 45 years old. All
Yeah,
of them.
that is now we remember because you have to repeat it so many times. It's stuck in our mind.
Good.
We will not forget it.
I am making that on purpose.
Yeah, I know that. We got the message.
No, yeah, I'm doing it unfortunately on purpose because, you know, in order for
Yeah.
you to access the application, you need, I don't know if you've
Yes.
gone through the platform already, but you need to,
Yes.
the eligibility quiz that has that, that one of the questions. On the call for proposals, that is listed there in 2 or 3 places. And before you actually submit the application, there's going to be a last check where you need again to state that all team members are up to 45 years old. I can tell you that last year's up to 10% of the applications submitted were excluded because even after all those checks, still people above 45 years old applied.
Yeah,
That
got
is
it.
why I might sound repetitive, and I am being repetitive, but there's a point on that because I don't want people to invest so much time and then not even have a chance to get feedback because they failed on the eligibility.
Yeah, it's very important. We got it. Yeah.
Good.
can understand that. Yeah.
Good. I'm not just a parrot or a broken record. It's just, there's a point. There's a point in my madness, as I tend to say here at GDN. Okay, I think
That's the protocol for the, I think, the submission. That's the protocol. One has to follow that. We understand that.
exactly. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you for understanding. Let me then turn Martha. I think you're the last person here in terms of ORD. Did we cover bases? Do you have any further questions?
No, at the moment, everything is clear.
Very good. Very happy to hear that.
Yes.
So, if that is the case, I will move on to the MIDP point. And since I'm moving to the MIDP, what I will say is that ORD people, I loved having you here, but if you have no interest on the MIDP, you are free to disconnect and debate on everything that we discussed so far, unless you also want to hear anything about more, and you might have an NGO or CSO. Don't feel Rubina and Yasmin, don't feel obliged to be here.
But could you share your email address for any future queries?
I shall, and I'm gonna follow up by email anyway. In the next
Oh, okay.
after this, I will be sending an email to you with the PPT that I just showed, so that you have it as a quick reference to you, and with a link to the previous recording, so that you can also easily go there.
Excellent. Thank you. Then I'm going to take leave. Thank you so much. It's very helpful. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. I have to attend another meeting. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank
Yeah, I
you.
will also leave. Okay. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye bye then. Yasmin, here we are.
Yes, yes, here we are again.
Do tell me, how can I help you today?
Okay. I am in the process. Actually, we are in the team, and we are in the process of writing the application for the award. But like after brainstorming, we came up with like further questions about the project itself. So,
Mhm.
like I would like to discuss, actually ask you about like how this application should be. So I have few questions. So I'll ask you so that you can help me with that.
Certainly.
Okay, first question is regarding like the what is that it has to be the ongoing project, right? So we already have a project in mind. We have to put the project which is under the implementation phase. But for this award, for this 50,000 award, like do we describe the project that is under implementation, or do we just take a part of the project that we are seeking funding for, or how like what is this award thinking for?
Okay. So the project, the MIDP, is to support projects that are already ongoing, right? But you need funds in order to continue doing them, or to develop them further. Okay, you cannot just start and think of something completely new out of the blue, that has no connection to what is on the ground, or was on the ground, or already was on the ground. So basically, in a way, another way to put it is not testing new things.
Yes. Okay. So now I understand. For example, we are thinking of a project which has, for example, timeline till 2025, end of 2025. So we need to propose a project that we can implement after 2025 based on like what we've been doing now.
What you've been
Is
doing
that the
now,
correct?
yes, what have you been doing now, how is it connected to the theme, and what you're going to do after. Because the potential is that, I was looking, did you look at the template and the guiding questions?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
So, yeah. So that's why, like, we were like a bit confused about like when it says the project. So we are discussing the project that we already have that's ongoing. or like the project that we're thinking for the award, which could be like which are based on the current project, but the activities may be different from what we are doing in the current project.
It can be, or it can be, as long as it is based on something that is already on the grounds, and you want to follow up on that and add this. You are doing A
Yes.
and you want to do plus B, and
Mhm.
then on the section for scale for replication and scaling up, you even say we can even do D and E.
Okay. Okay, so now in this application, like when we are describing the project, so we are describing the project for this award. We are not describing the project that is ongoing.
They need to, they're gonna match, right? At a certain point, they're gonna be the same,
Yes,
one and the same in many aspects of it,
yes.
correct?
For example, yes. Like my understanding that, for example, like the project that we have, it's a little bit, they have more activities, but for this award, like we need to have a very concise, very limited number of activities because of the budget limitations, right?
Exactly.
So,
No, that's fine.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
fine. You will explain here is
Mm-hmm.
what you can do, what you're going to do with the funds available. I don't want you to be losing space on things that will not be able to be funded through it. What I would advise you to do is that you make that distinction on the part of the question that are you receiving any other sources of funding and support for the
Yeah.
proposed project? You list
Mm.
there and you say that. And over through the application, you can make a small note, something that just takes one sentence or two sentences at most to say precisely that, to link it, you know, to say that we do more, but we're not putting it here because the funding is not enough.
Okay, okay. So like, so the understanding is that like the application should focus on the award and the amount and the activities that we'll be doing, focused on the amount, but somewhere we also mentioned that the project is ongoing and that for example, like while implementing projects that we have demands for this, the community people think that this is more important and is practical for them, and that's why we are proposing this.
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay, okay. Now,
Because
okay, now I
okay,
making sense. Okay. So this doesn't mean that we need to explain the ongoing project in detail. It's just we can take take few things out from the project that are relevant to the.
can you repeat that, please?
So that means that we do not need to explain everything about the ongoing project, but the things or the interventions that are relevant to this or to this award.
Yes, 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 exactly.
Okay.
Otherwise, you wouldn't have
Okay.
space to do everything, to write everything.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So that was our confusion. Like, do we like explain the whole project or just detail the activities
And
for the project?
and
Okay, so then another question.
keep in mind what I think we spoke last time is that there's two stages, right? There are three stages of the evaluation. They're going to be looking at the innovation aspect, how it is
Mm-hmm.
clear in terms of the objectives, in terms of social impact, the potential for expansion, and the cost
Mm-hmm.
efficiency. And
Yes.
for that, they will look at the application solely, period, nothing else. But then moving on,
Okay.
the reviewers will be engaging with you. So you all will have the opportunity even to provide further detail and explain how all these things are combined.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. Now this makes more sense. Yeah. 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 Okay. Um. So, and another thing is that can we include the activities related to monitoring and evaluation
Can
in
you
this? So, sorry.
sorry,
Can
I
we
didn't understand the question.
can we include the monitoring and evaluation aspect for this project?
What do you mean can you include?
No, I mean as an activity.
Ah, you can you can and you're saying you're talking about the timeline, right? In terms of the timeline and all, if the MNE if MNE is one. You can, maybe you even
Yes,
should.
yes, yes.
Yes.
So like, okay, M&E should be, yeah. But the whole award should not, I mean, cannot focus on just the M&E and how we would like to like strengthen. No, it cannot, right? I mean, yes.
The award is to provide funds to an NGO or CSO that has a project to support the most marginalized communities. If the
Yeah, yeah,
activities will
okay.
be around M&E, that's more of, that would be an award for capacity building of the organization.
Okay, okay, yeah, we were discussing about this, so now it's more clear. Then about the budget, like when we
Yes,
will be uploading the budget,
yes,
because we have to upload the budget of the project that's ongoing, right? That you mentioned last time.
yes.
So when we do that, we do we upload the planned budget or the budget that has already been expended,
If you
the
have
real
already,
budget. Mhm.
because we are now in the middle of 2024, and you might already have, I think you're asking if you should put the budget or like the match, the balance match, like the auditing. Either or, it is completely up to you to decide what you want to do. But it's no problem, because this might be linked even to what you were asking before of, so we're not, this is based on a project that is bigger than the one that we're going to propose for budget concerns. You don't have to pick the budget of last year and shorten it in order to match the activities that you're going to propose here. There's no need for that. Did I make myself clear? I don't think so, because you don't look like you're like you're clarifying.
Yeah, I think I'm a bit confused on that.
So let's make this analogy. You have your project has component A, B, and C. And for this award, you're actually going to talk only about component B, because that's the one that fits the budget and the topic of the call. You don't have to cut and to edit the budget of last year's that has A, B, and C, because you're just proposing B to this. No, upload all of it. Upload the budget of the full project. That can even help you out to show how big it is and what is the potential for if you had more money. But for the budget and of the award, it is only about about the activities that you're proposing to do for the 50,000.
Okay, 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 yeah, okay. And regarding the question on cost effectiveness,
Yes.
do we need to like explicitly give the numbers as to how much like cost effective the project has been, or can we see with certain examples?
No, it's cost effectiveness of the activities and the budget that you're going to propose for this competition. So cost effectiveness of the 50,000 that you are going
Okay,
to be requesting.
okay. Okay, then I think now things are a bit clearer now. Yes,
Yeah?
yes. Okay. Yes. Thank you so much, Nuwan. Then I think like things are clearer now. If we have further questions, then I may join again on May 16th. Yeah.
No problem whatsoever. Feel free to do so. I'll be here for that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you
Okay?
so much. Thank you so much,
Thank you
then.
so
Yeah.
much. Have a
Yeah.
nice
Bye
evening.
bye.
Bye-bye.
Yes. Thank you.